Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I am very excited. I'm going to be creating a look with my Nabla Dreamy palette. So if you did not see, I created a video a few weeks ago swatching all of my Nabla palettes. I currently own 3 and I had just recently purchased them, so I wanted to do a video swatching out all the shades in each of the palettes. And in that video I asked if anyone wanted to see any dedicated looks with any of the palettes, and I got a request from Donna Martin to create a purple look with this palette here. So here are the shades inside here. So of course I'm going to be focusing on the more purple shades, and I'm super excited because those are definitely ones that I am drawn to in this palette. So we can just jump right into it. So the first shade we are going to take is Lullaby, and this is probably the shade I am the most excited for in this palette. I love light matte purples like this. They are one of my favorite shades to use on my eyes. And I'm going to just start running this through the crease. This is my first time testing out Nabla shadows on my eyes, so I am very excited. Especially since the swatches for each of the palettes were just so good and effortless and just made me really excited. So I'm just working on building this shade up in the crease. It's not super purple on the eyes. It's kind of showing up more brown toned actually. So I'm just going to work on building this shade up. Yeah, there's like not much purple. There's like a hint of purple to this shade. But overall, it's not a very purple toned shadow. At least not as much as it looks in the pan, which is a little disappointing. It's still a pretty shade, but I was hoping for a little bit more purple. The next shade I want to take is Dogma, and I'm going to use this to start deepening my crease. So on a much smaller fluffy brush, I'm just going to focus this one right into the crease, and I will of course go back in and blend it out once I get the shade in the areas I want it. I will say these shades do seem to be building nicely. I am continually dipping back into the shadow, but they seem to be building up nicely, which is good. Now I will go back in with the previous brush and just blend the two together. Alright, next I'm going to try the shade Delirium. And this was a shadow when I did the swatches that did not swatch too great. So I want to see how it performs on the eyes. So I'm just going to start on a completely dry brush, but I might go ahead and wet it. And I want to start packing this in the inner and outer portions of my lid. I think I want to do a little halo eye today. So you don't really get any of the shimmer when you just use a dry brush. I'm going to see what happens if I wet my brush a little bit with this shade. It's also very powdery in the pan. I'm going to see. Okay, wetting the brush definitely helps it be more pigmented. Still not sure it's completely showing the shimmer. Maybe it is. You can can start to see some of the shimmer packing down there, which is good. And a little bit more of the purple peeking through. So I will do the same thing for the inner corner. I just wet my brush. I just use water to do this. I find that works perfectly fine. I know a lot of people use setting spray, but honestly, water works. All right, once I have that packed on the inner and outer portions of my lid, I'm going to go back in with just a very, very tiny bit of Dogma and work on blending in the crease some more. And I might take a little bit of Delirium as well on that brush and just work it somewhat into the crease, just so that we get a nice blended look. This does make it blend away on the lid though. I'm just going to go back and forth with these shades until I get the desired look. All right, on that same little brush, I'm going to take Inception. And this is going to go in the center of my lid. And this formula was a lot nicer when I swatched it. And it performs nicely on just the drier brush, which is nice. I definitely prefer when shimmers can just pack down on their own, but wetting the brush isn't a super big deal. So once I have this one packed in the center of the lid, I'm going to go back in with Delirium once again and just tap over the edges to make sure they're blended together. And once again, we lost some of that pigmentation from this shade. So I just want to bring that back as much as possible. This is definitely a tricky shade to work with. It's not my favorite, and I'm getting a lot of fallout on my face from it. All right, then right in the center of the lid, I'm going to take the shade Immaculate, and I'm just going to tap this right over the purple, just to add a bit more brightness to the look. And I focus mostly towards the lash line and then slowly tap my way up with this shade. All right, then for the lower lash line, I'm going to take more of Lullaby and just run this all the way across. Nothing super fancy. And then I will take more of Immaculate for my inner corner. So we are just gonna pop this shade right in the inner corner. Super simple. And that will finish off this look. I'm going to go add some mascara and I will be right back. All right, here is the final look. And for this look, I used my Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus mascara. I do think this look came together in the end, but I do have a few thoughts about this palette. First off, I am slightly disappointed that that Lullaby shade turned out so brown in the crease. I was definitely expecting it to be purple. It looks a lot more purple toned in the pan. So I don't really know where that color came from, quite honestly. It's still a pretty shade, but I was just hoping for the light purple. And then that Delirium shade, that darkest purple, was definitely tricky to work with. I knew it was going to be from swatching it out, but it definitely created a lot of fallout on my face and had a tendency to blend away if I wasn't careful. I think it is going to be a good shade to just pack down on the lid and then not mess with. So that's probably how I'm going to have to use it. But it wasn't my favorite shade to begin with, so it's not the biggest deal to me that it didn't perform super well. But obviously in a palette, you want your shades to perform well, all of them. So that's just a couple little thoughts I had about this palette, but overall, I am definitely still excited to keep playing around with it. I am excited to test out some of these more pinky shades, and this shade up here looked stunning when I swatched it, and I'm very excited about that one. So I definitely am still really happy I have this palette, and will definitely continue to test it out more. This was just my first look with it, and the shades, other than Delirium, performed really nicely. So I am very excited about this palette still. Let me know what you guys think of this look and what you think of this palette in general. Please also let me know what else you would like to see from me down below in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And with all of that said, I will see you all in my next video. Bye!